Let's try this exam question, question 1 from the C part of the June 18 paper, where they want the revised tax and NIC for Kaya and Hoppy Limited if Kaya pays herself a bonus of $25,000 either as remuneration or as a dividend. So we have 4 things to do: revised income tax and NIC for Kaya, revised corporation tax and NIC for H Limited under the remuneration option and under the dividend option. So let's start off with my director's remuneration. And the first thing that we have to do is calculate the income tax liability. Now, what do we need? We actually need to know what income she has already. Well, she already has remuneration of $30,000 and dividends of $45,000, and now she will have this bonus of $25,000. So let's put that in over here. We have director's remuneration, and we had previously $30,000, and now we are going to have another $25,000. So totally, of course, we will have $55,000. We also had dividends of $45,000. So let's find our total income after this. My total income will of course be the total of these two. After this, you know, we subtract my personal allowance, of course, because we need to come to our taxable income. So what is my taxable income? It will be this plus this over here. My taxable income is $88,500. Now let us actually move on to calculating my liability. You know that my basic band is of course $33,500. So we have $33,500 over here. And let's just make these percentages. We need this to be taxed at the 20% rate. So what is that going to be? This multiplied by this is $6,700. Now, what of my non-savings income, my remuneration, will be taxed at the higher band? Well, we had $55,000. We have already taxed $33,500, and of course, my personal allowance is first deducted from non-savings. So I will have $10,000 at the higher rate of 40%. So let's see what tax is paid over there. It's going to be like this. Then for my dividends, I have $45,000 of dividend, but you know that $5,000 is your nil rate band, so this will be at 0%, and of course this comes out to 0, we know. What is the remaining of dividend to be taxed? $45,000 subtracting my $5,000 is $40,000 at, of course, my higher rate of 32.5%. And what will the tax on this amount be? It will be $13,000. So what is my whole liability? It will be from here, we're finding the total, until here. This is my whole liability of $23,700. Let's just put some borders here, and that's your liability. Next thing to be calculated is your Class 1 NIC for Kaya. Now, we know we have my director's remuneration. We already have the director's remuneration. That NIC will be paid on. It's $55,000. But let us find my upper limit and let's find my lower limit, because then we know what rates to apply. So I have my limits here for you. For the employee, between 1 and 8164, nothing. Between 8165 and 45,000, so my upper limit is 45,000 at 12%, and above that at 2%. Therefore, let's put this in. My upper limit was 45,000 and my lower limit is 8164. Okay, so again here we need a little percentage. Okay, so between my upper limit and my lower limit, I will have this amount taxed at 12%. And then, of course, my full amount over here, so between my remuneration and my upper limit, I have this additional amount taxed at 2%. And let's find the full liability. So it'll be this multiplied by this. And here also this multiplied by this. It gives me a total of this plus this, 4620. Again, let's just put my equal signs to show you that that is the final Class 1A NIC. Now we need Class 1 NIC for the employer also for Hoppy Limited because that will change. Now it is an additional amount remuneration being paid, so additional NIC will of course be paid, but they will also have to pay the previous NIC. So what was the previous NIC? We need to find that out. My previous NIC, they have told me over here, let's just come down to see what the previous NIC was. It was 3013. So let's put that in where we need to. The previous NIC is 3013. And on the additional 25,000, what is actually going to be paid? Well, let's look at our limits again. For the employer, anything above 8165 is at 13.8%, and they already had a salary of 30,000, the remuneration of 30,000. So this remaining 25,000 will of course be at the 13.8%. So let's put that in here to just do our calculation. We have my 25,000. Here, let's just make this your percentage that we need it as a decimal, and then these two multiplied, of course, will give me how much it is. So what is the total of the Class 1 NIC paid by the employer? It will be 6463. Again, let's put our equal signs to show them that we have finished off over there. Now, they have also asked me for my corporation tax liability if the remuneration is paid. We already had our profit, but we have additional amounts that can be deducted. Remember, this is like salary, it is remuneration, so it can be deducted from profit, and the additional NIC can also be deducted from your profit. Therefore, we need to find our profit and then make these deductions, and then of course apply our 19% rate. So what was our profit? They told us that we have a profit here of 80,000, so let's just copy that and we can put it in right there. So let's copy this, and my trading profit before my deductions, of course, was 80,000 that I've just copied. And then, of course, I'm going to subtract the additional remuneration. So we are subtracting this 25,000 that we have of additional remuneration and subtract your additional NIC. So we're subtracting my 3450 over here that we paid. So subtract the 3450. What is this total? Let's see, from here until over here, this gives me 51,550, and the corporation tax rate is of course 19%. Therefore, what is the additional liability, or what is the liability that I will have to pay if I give it as remuneration? It will be the 9795. Okay, so we have dealt with the remuneration part of all of this. Now, what if it is paid as an additional dividend? What happens in that situation? Well, of course, the income tax liability will be different. Now, this is dividend, so of course, it's not added to your non-savings income or anything. The non-savings income got your personal allowance, got your basic band. The dividend income anyways fell into your higher band. So what we need is my previous liability, and then for the additional amount, we will have the 25,000, of course, taxed at the higher dividend rate. So it is going to be at 32.5%. It will be this multiplied by this. This is your additional, but we have to find the previous from the question. They told me my previous here is 14,200. So let's just copy this and add it on. Let's copy the 14,200 and add it on over here as we need to. We need to add it on just a little bit lower right here. Okay, and my total income tax liability will be this total over here, 22,325, if it is paid as a dividend. Now, for the Class 1 NIC, for Kaya, there is no change because this is a dividend. And for Hoppy Limited, again, no change because it is a dividend. So what were their previous NIC liabilities? We'll just put them in to show them it's the same. For Kaya, it was 2620. So let's copy and put that in over here. That there's no change for Kaya. It was 2620. And for the company, what was it? It was 3013. that we need to put in over here, and there's no change over here. Now for corporation tax, there's again no change because it's a dividend. So let's just put in what that would be over here. And they've told us that it is 15,200 over here, and my corporation tax will again have no change. I've just copied and I've pasted it. For the dividend, there's no change in these figures. The only change will be over here. And that's how you will attempt this question.